Michael, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
We've been waiting to have you on this show for a long time. I'm sure everybody watching at home is very curious to hear your answers to some pressing questions that we've been waiting to ask you for a long, long time. Why don't you make yourself comfortable? Take a seat.
Sure.
So, Michael, the first question that I want to ask, can you tell us what exactly a McNugget is made of? Because I just don't know. Do they put pizza in it? Or is it kind of like a rocket ship that takes off and then it explodes in the air and then the shrapnel that rains down upon the earth is the McNuggets, and that's what we're left with. We're just left with these burning hot shrapnel chunks. Right. Can you explain that?
It's a very good question. From my own experiments and knowledge, I found out that the chicken nugget is actually made of dog feces.
Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen?
No, not really.
Josh, how are you?
How are you doing, man? It's good to see you. How you been?
I've been great. How have you been?
I'm alright, man. How's things with the family?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a seat? There are some questions we've been dying to ask.
Sweet. Thanks, man.
So, Josh.
Hey.
Josh, what are you gonna do with your pants? Are you gonna let them melt off your body, or are you gonna stand up and tell those polar bears to stop pushing you around? They can only take your lunch money so many times before you decide to pick up that spiked baseball bat that's lying in the bottom of your mother's car and just do some damage. When is it gonna happen, Josh?
Well, Rob, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but you know, the spaghetti is always in the way.
What is it you're gonna do with that chicken? Are you gonna let it stare at you? Are you gonna let it stare at you until it melts your soul? Are you gonna let your heart burn? Are you gonna let your sneakers melt and then they just stick you to the floor like glue and you can't move? Are you gonna let that happen?
Well, firstly with the chicken, I'd set the dog onto it so it eats its turkey wobbles.
Max,
Hey, how you doing,
good
buddy?
to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's happening here then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we've been wanting to ask you for a long, long time. So let's go.
Other things. Yeah.
It's that spaghetti, and it always keeps, it keeps riding up. It's always riding up there. It's always in the most uncomfortable place, and it gets really, really sweaty. So sweaty. I just can't believe how sweaty and sticky that spaghetti gets.
No.
Oh my god! Oh! Max! Where do I even begin?
How about the first position?
Very good recommendation. If your zipper gets stuck, how are you gonna find the needle in that haystack? Are you gonna use a magnet, or are you gonna just fish through those fibers, searching for that needle? Is it gonna prick you if you touch it? Are you gonna bleed?
Wow. I mean, I'm never really short for a needle or a prick. I do love a bit of being punctured.
And I really wish my mom would help me with that, but she's busy being digested by the jellyfish, which is so annoying.
Aaron! Haha! What can I say, ladies and gentlemen? He's here. Turn off the fucking camera! Can you tell us how to hide the bodies in my basement? Because people just keep wandering in there. They see them lying around, and it's inconvenient for me because my grandma keeps telling me that I've got to stop. But I say, no, Grandma, you can't do this to me. You don't control my life. You can't own me.
Yeah.
I own you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the way I do with my dead bodies is, firstly, load them up into the trunk of my car, drive my car home, because I obviously don't kill people in my house. That's the fucking stupidest idea ever.
Strange upbringing I had. What I'd like to do, I'd get my nice big stack of hay and set it on fire. So it all burns in a glorious, glorious ginger bush.
Well now, Aaron. You know, a lot of people suffer from that these days.
Yeah, I thought the mafia would handle it, really, but the government and the mafia really, they're not making it any better for us. It's kind of depressing, really.
Max, when you tie your shoelaces, do you prefer the bananas to be on your head or on a couch nearby, which is on wheels, so as to provide adequate transportation of said bananas as you tie the laces, while an owl watches you quietly?
Well,
What are you gonna say?
Straight to the dogs.
The dogs.
The dogs.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
The dogs don't eat the bodies. They urinate.
everything's down on the ground. Everything's, spread out. They've had their fun.
I mean, I figured that the owls and the penguins would totally work for us, but they didn't. I did not vote for that party.
Well, that made me feel very slippery. And I'm sure everyone in the audience would agree.